Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. This is J.R. Fisher here with the Digital Cash Academy, Ecom Road, and Web Cash Academy. And we're going to be talking about SEO today. But before we get going, I would like to introduce Jessica. Say hello.
Good morning. Hello, everybody.
So Jessica's going to be over there, guys. If you look at your little box there and you click where it says questions, you can put questions in there. And I see Ferris Muhammad's here, Jennifer's here. Type in that box, guys, and let me see where you are from right now. I see Mark, I see Antonio. Everybody's saying good morning. Somebody says it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Be interesting to know what time zone you're in. Who else is in there? UK, Bharat Patel in the UK, and we got Carl in Louisiana. And let's see here, who else we got? Amjad Akhtar, I think that's right. Cool, New York. And we got Jennifer's in Kentucky, and Walter is in Greece. Very cool, Walter. New Jersey, Sherry. Calpe, Spain, Bruce. Victoria, Virginia. Hey, Victoria, I used to live in Virginia. I'd be interested where you're at in Virginia. I used to live there. We moved actually from Chesapeake, Virginia to San Diego. We've got Nerman in Chicago. Let's see, Northeast Ohio is Larry. Bahrain. Very cool. Muhammad, who else we got here? Rizwan is from Malaysia. Denise from Arizona. We've got Andreas from the Philippines. Oh my goodness, guys, you're all over the place. Debbie's in Houston. Cool, very cool. Pennsylvania, we got another Debbie. Dan's in there. Dan's been with electricity. I've been talking to him. Los Angeles, Carl. Australia. Wow, we've got a packed house today, guys. And you know, this is a really cool session. I know there's Stephanie there. I've been talking to Stephanie a little bit online. We've been talking about a lot of different things we have to do. Victoria's in Chesapeake. How about that, Victoria? Very cool. We were in the Greenbrier area. I don't know if you know where that's at. I actually lived out in Hickory area, but my business was in Greenbrier. So very cool. Let's see here. We are going to be talking about SEO today. Now, the funny thing about SEO is that it's changed a lot. You know, what you had to do before and what you have to do now are two and separate things. So let me get this screen up here and we'll get started on this. So what's needed for SEO in 2018? And like I say, guys, if you have questions, because this is going to get a little bit complicated in just a second. If you have questions, feel free to type them in there. I won't see them, but Jessica will, so she'll shout them out to me. Plus, she's going to be typing in there answering some of your questions. So let's, before let me explain what SEO is, because some of you may not know. It's just search engine optimization. So basically what search engine optimization is, it's setting up your product pages, your blogs, your homepage, and all that, so that when Google's search engine goes out there, which is Hummingbird right now, that's their newest version of their algorithm, it finds your pages and it brings them back so that people can see what you've got. Okay, so that is something that we want to do. We want our pages to show up, but it's not as easy as it used to be. You know, it used to be we just did a few simple steps and boom, we're at the top of the rankings. It's not like that now. So what I want to do is I want to really go into detail what this algorithm does and what it's looking for. Because if you know what it's looking for, then you can provide that to them. And then, of course, you're going to get better rankings. So here's the newest part of Hummingbird. It's called Rankbrain. Now, if anybody's ever heard of Rankbrain before, you can certainly type in that comment section there. I would love to see if anybody knows anything about that. But Rankbrain is what they use now. And it's a whole new game. This is actually a machine artificial intelligence. So what it's really doing is it's teaching itself. Okay, I know that's really weird because normally, you teach these AI things, but this one actually teaches itself based on, what it's doing. So let's look at what it's doing here. And I'm also going to give you an example of a company that used this to the nth degree and really, really benefit from it. And you can too, okay? Now, something I am going to tell you is this is work, okay? So those of you who think that, you can go into online marketing and, work 4 hours a week and make millions of dollars, it doesn't happen in the beginning. Now, it can happen later on. I know that for a fact because we've sold millions of dollars worth of products. But the thing is, you've got to put in the work up front, and you're either going to put in this work up front, for yourself, or somebody else is going to make you put in work and you're going to be, building their dream for them. So that would be called your boss. So either way, you got to work. You're not getting out of this. So why not do some for yourself? And even if you've got a job, do this stuff on the side. So let's get into Rankbrain right now. Let's see what it is. So I've got some results up here on the screen right now. And what I did is I ran a search for Survivalcave food, which is one of our products. I got millions of results, but these were on the front page, okay? So what happens when these results come out? Well, it used to be, Google would just present these results to people and they would click on them and that would be the end of the story. Well, that's actually the beginning of the story now, because what happens now is it looks for certain things and it brings forth these results. But based on what happens with the actual results, it's going to rank them accordingly. So let's say, somebody clicked on, I don't know, I see Survival Warehouse there. That's one of our retailers. And let's kind of break down, what he's got there. He's got Survivalcave Food brand. Okay. So when I ran the search, I ran Survivalcave Food. So obviously that's his title. Okay. And I'll go back on this in just a second and explain all this to you. So that's his title tag. That is not the title he has on his page, but that's his title tag and his SEO for his web page. Now, somebody may be saying, well, geez, where's my SEO? It's different really for everything. It's different for, Shopify. It's going to be a different spot for WordPress. It's going to be a different spot for Magento, depending on what your platform is. If you're doing ClickFunnels, they have a different spot for all this stuff. So you just got to figure out where your SEO spots are for your information so it shows up here. So if these results come up and people start clicking on them, and let me get through to the next screen here. They click on this one here. They focus on two things, okay? The first thing they focus on is the percentage of people who click on the result. So where does that come from? That's your click-through rate. So when these results come up, they derive a certain number of people that see it. And then they say, okay, out of these 10 results, let's say number 3 got, 60% of the people clicked on it. So immediately what Rankbrain does is says, well, there's a higher percentage of people that are clicking on this number 3 result. We need to move it up. Okay. We need to get it higher in the results because people are clicking on it. They like it. So, everybody thinks that Google is your enemy. Google's really your friend. They are trying to give the end user exactly what they want. Okay. So they're trying to make the end user happy. So if you play along and you try to make the end user happy, you're going to benefit too. So what happens now? The next thing they look at is the length of time that people actually stay on your page. Now, this is called dwell time. So we've got two statistics here. We've got the click-through rate, which is simply, what percent of the people are clicking through that see this. And then we've got dwell time. So in that example I just gave you where, let's say number 3, a lot of people clicked on it. Let's say 60% of the people were clicking on it. The next thing that Rankbrain is going to look at is, well, how long did they stay on that page when they got there? Now, if a lot of people click on it and you write some really compelling, descriptions and titles and tons of people click on it, but when they get to your page, there's really nothing of value there. They leave. Well, then what's going to happen is they're going to say, well, you have a low dwell time. So we're going to drop you down in the results, even though you had a high click-through rate. So, it used to be, and we'll go through all the steps in just a second, there were just a few things you had to worry about. But now you got to worry about, getting that click-through rate, which means writing really compelling, title tags and descriptions and offers and all that stuff. And when they get there, you got to keep them there for a while because Google is actually watching how long they stay on your page. I know it's kind of creepy, right? But they're doing it. So you have to become a click-through rate ninja. Okay, so how are you going to do that? Well, there's certain things you need to do to get those people to click through there, and you got to work on those things. And we're going to talk about those in just a second. And the cool thing is let's say you've got a really engaging page and you got a high dwell time. Google is going to bring up your result higher in the search results, even if you don't have good title tags and good descriptions, because that's now part of the algorithm that wasn't there before. All right. Hope that makes sense. And type in the box, like I say, guys, if I'm going too fast or this is over your head or whatever it is, I want to know. I'll make sure I'm reaching you and you understand what I'm talking about. All right. So here's the scary thing right now, guys. It used to be people were clicking through. Thank you, David. David says great stuff. It used to be people were clicking through at a pretty high rate. But check this out. Now in 2018, their click-through rate is now what? It's 37% less than what it was in 2015. So if you're not doing these things that we need to do, you're going to be losing customers, And if you're losing customers and traffic, it's going to cost you money. So the things I'm going to suggest that you do in just a minute, I'm going to give you proof that they work. Obviously you want some proof, you want to know they work, but I'm telling you, you have to do them. It's not like, you can just add it. I see so many people will start with a Shopify store, or they'll start with a WordPress store. And all they do is add products. They go to Oberlo or they go to Dropify, and they just keep adding tons of products. And they go, well, look, I got 3,000 products on my site. I'm like, yeah, but nobody's ever going to see them because you don't have it optimized. If you don't have it optimized, it doesn't matter. You'd do better off to have 5 products on your site than 1,000 and have them all really, really optimized. You'd be selling the crap out of those 5 items. So let's look at how we're going to do that and how we can actually improve our site, because that's the main goal here, is to improve the site, make more money, get more people there. If you get more eyes on your site, obviously you make more money. And if you have really great content on your site, obviously then they're going to stay longer. You're going to even get better results. It's this big circle. Okay. So the old days, these are the old days. And when I say old days, I learned to do this like in 2010. We had to do these things. The first thing we had to do is we had to have a title tag. Now, all a title tag is that first sentence that comes up in the search results. It's that bolded sentence that, is above everything in your search results. I'm showing you with my hands here, by the way. That probably doesn't work. So that's all that is. Okay. The next one is the URL name. So like if you typed in Survivalcave Food right now, that's the name of my website where we sell our survival food from. So obviously, Google looks at that and goes, well, that's probably a good result for that. So, if you can have these words in your URL name, it's helpful. It doesn't matter as much nowadays, but it used to. Also alt image. So if you have an image on your site, a lot of people put images on there, but they don't tag those images with some type of description on it. So if I were to have, like a case of our beef there and it's 12 cans and I have a picture of that particular product on the site, I need to go into that image itself. And like I said, it's gonna be different for every platform. And I need to call that image what it is. Blind people also use the internet, and these alt images, they can hover over and that can actually speak to them and tell them what that picture is. So if you have those alt images in there, Google says, well, hey, this site is trying to give the right information and it's trying to explain to everybody, even somebody who's blind on the internet. So we want to make sure we do that. Next thing is the description. Now, this description is kind of tricky because we want to describe what the item is, but we don't want to just describe that. We want to have some type of call to action. So, in a case like our canned meats, or beef, we may say it's 12 cans of, canned beef, long-term survival food, but we may also say fast shipping, wide variety available, shop now. We may put some, words in there that are going to make them click and make them want to do something. So we got to make sure we have that in the description. And the last thing is your H1 tag. Now, the H1 tag is really, if you go into Word or whatever, you can make something an H1 tag. All it is a bolded certain size of text. So if Google sees that, they know that, and that matches what the people are searching for, they know that you've done what you should. Now, I say this is the old days because these are the things you used to have to do. And guess what? You still have to do them. They still have to be done. Because think about this. And you got to work this through, your own mind a little bit. If you don't have a title tag and alt image and description H1 tag, how in the world is Google going to bring back your search result? I mean, it's not possible, right? It doesn't exist. There's nothing to show the customer. So you got to make sure you go in and do this on every single product. It's time consuming. It's boring. If you don't want to do it, you can always hire somebody to, do your SEO, but it's got to be done. Now, either way, it's just got to be done. But there's more things we have to do nowadays. So let's talk about it. It's all about content now. So remember we talked about dwell time a couple minutes ago? What's going to make people dwell or stay on your page? It's going to be content, okay? What that page is all about. So it's product content. So if you have some products on your page and they say, men's gold watch with black band, how long could I stay on that page? I mean, I can't stay there very long, right? It takes me no time at all to read that sentence. But if you have a really, really compelling description about, where that watch was made and, the design of it and the designer behind it, and testimonials of customers who bought that watch, there's more content for me to read on that page. And if there's more content for me to read on that page and you've really put a lot of content in there, well, I'm going to stay longer. And if I'm going to stay longer, Rankbrain's going to look at me and go, gee, JR really stayed a long time on this page. It must be a really compelling page. We think we're going to put that higher in the rankings. And if it goes higher in the rankings, guess what happens? More people click on it. And if more people click on it, right, you see what's going on here is I'm getting better and better rankings on this product. So the next thing is it's got to be useful or helpful content. Now, this could be on a product or this could be on a blog. So, maybe you have a blog, and if you're selling men's watches, and in the blog, it talks about all the different types of watches, that are made, and the history of watches, and, why people wear watches, and, how a lot of people wear them for just fashion now or whatever, but it's something that the consumer can read about. I see so many pages on Shopify, and the people have the product listed, and they have the weight and the dimensions. And it's like, okay, that's great, but that's not interesting. It's not helpful. Maybe it's a little helpful if I know how big the watch is, but it's really got to be a lot more in depth, guys. You gotta put more effort into this stuff if you want people to stay on your site, which is what you want them to do, right? And I do want to warn you guys, I forgot to say this in the beginning, we are full. So if you get out of this now and somebody else grabs your spot, you're not going to be able to get in. We're thinking about increasing the number of spots because this thing keeps filling up. So don't get out of the webinar. You will lose your spot. And if you got any distractions going on, please turn them off. We're going to be done here in a few minutes. And this stuff could make you millions of dollars if you get it dialed in. And I'm going to prove it to you at the very end of this webinar. Matter of fact, I'm going to prove to you how you can make billions of dollars at the end of this webinar. Okay. So that's useful just to stick around and see that because it's a really cool example. So how much do you have to do this stuff? What's required? What's the parameters? Everybody wants to know how much and when. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Well, first off, we want to look at quality. We have to have high quality. So if you are importing products from Shopify, you could pretty much bet you've got low quality content written. Okay, they're just doing the bare minimum what they have to do. It may not translate well into English. If you're doing this in another language, I know we have people from all around the world watching this. Make sure that whoever your target audience is, what part of the world it is, that it is written in very good quality content, that they understand it, that the wording is correct. Okay, very, very important. Okay, also quantity. You got to have enough information. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but if you don't have a lot of information on your page, how in the world are you going to have a high dwell rate or length of time that people are going to stay there? You've got to have a lot of information. I'm going to tell you how much in just a second. And you also have to be consistent. Okay, so let's say you're doing blogs. Make sure that you don't do like 5 blogs today and then none for 4 weeks. It just makes no sense. Okay, your people need that consistency. So if you're doing a blog or you're doing any type of informational stuff, it should be on a regular basis. So let's say maybe it comes out on Mondays and Wednesdays, and that's kind of what we do. It comes out on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays we run offers of whatever our products are. So they're getting that good content plus they're getting the offer, because you don't have a right to give them an offer if you're not giving them good content also, but it's got to be consistent. Okay, now if you are writing stuff, here's what we figured out in all of the surveys. It takes about 2,000 words on a page to have the best dwell rate. 2,000. Now go back and look at your page and look at how many words you got there. What we figured out was at 2,000 words, that's about where most people will really stay on your page the longest. Okay, more than that, you're going to lose some anyhow because they're just not going to read it. But less than that, and I'm going to have to downsize my page just for a second, guys. I apologize. I'm trying to scroll through here. I wanted to get to something to show you. Okay, so let's get back on here. So 2,000 words is the optimum. If you have 2,000 words in there, they're going to stay a lot longer. Okay, and how much longer are they going to stay? Here's what we figured out. 25% consumption rate is what the average person does. So think about this. It doesn't matter if you have 100 words on your page or 2,000 words on your page. The average person will only consume 25% of what the content is. 25%. Now, that's not to say some people don't read every single word, because they do, or some people will click there and go right back off again, because they do that too. But on average, 25% consumption rate. So if you've got 2,000 words on there and you got a 25% consumption rate, they're going to read about 500 words on there. That takes some time. And if you look at other web pages out there, most web pages are not doing this. Okay, so I'm telling you stuff that you could be doing that could help you jump ahead of everybody else, right? And that's what you want to do. You need to get this information before everybody else does, okay? And this is brand new for 2018. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add LSI keywords. If you know what an LSI keyword is, go ahead and type it in that little box there now. Don't Google it. Don't do that. Don't cheat. Because if you get out of the webinar, first off, you know, you're going to lose your spot. So let's talk about LSI keywords, okay, and what they are. So we're going to add these. LSI keyword is a keyword that is systematically linked to a main keyword, okay? So like in a nutshell, LSI keywords are keywords that we generally find related to a main keyword. For example, apple, right, which means could mean a fruit, but it's also an LSI keyword for iPhone. Does that make sense to everybody? You kind of see how that works. I'm also going to give you, because you're going to need this, I'm going to give you a free website in just a second, and you're going to be able to go and figure out what your LSI keywords are for any search term, okay? This is a free site I'm going to give you. And there's the site right there, and I'm going to show you how to use it in just a second too, but it is lsigraph.com. So you'll want to go to lsigraph.com. Don't go there now. You can do this later, okay? Let me show you kind of an example. When you get there, this is what you're going to see. This is the LSI graph. So what LSI stands for is latent semantic indexing, okay? So what Google is doing is as people search on a daily basis, it's deriving all these other words that match up to your keyword. This site here, you can actually put in your keywords, which is what I did. I put in survival foods and I searched, and this is the results screen I got right here. This is the LSI graph. So they're saying, you know, if I have foods with long-term shelf life, dried foods for long-term storage, survival food supplies. So what I'm telling you here is on your pages, if you incorporate some of these words right here and you put those on your pages, whether it be a blog, whether it be, you know, your product page or whatever, you are going to get higher search results. Pretty cool stuff, right? And you don't even have to figure out what words to put there because you can use this free tool that I just gave you. Awesome stuff, right? If you understand that, also put that in the box there and let me know that you're understanding what I'm talking about, because this is a little advanced for some of you newer people, but it's okay. You know, I mean, when you first see this stuff, it's going to seem a little foreign, but as you know, are adding products, it's really better if you're in the beginning and you're just starting to add products, that you do all of this with your products, as opposed to, you know, adding 2,000 products and working on it for 2 months and really having nobody go to your site because you haven't done this. So you want to optimize your content. Very, very important. So the first thing you're going to want to do is if your website is set up for mobile, you want to move it to responsive design. And the difference is a lot of these templates that are, say, mobile, they don't work on all mobile. Mobile is changing constantly. So what we want to do is go into our settings, and it's different for every site. It's different for Shopify. It's different, and you know, there's apps you can get. It's different for WordPress. It's different for Magento, whatever you're using. You know, WooCommerce, doesn't matter. But you want to switch it to responsive design, because what that's going to do is that's going to allow the content itself to adjust to whatever that screen is or that phone or whatever. Okay, next thing we're going to want to do is make sure that your content looks great on mobile. So once you've done this, you want to actually go and look. So many people will make all these changes and do all these things, and they never look at their own site, you know, and I'll look at it and I'll say, did you realize this on your site? And they're like, no, I've never looked at it. I'm like, well, you got to look at your site. You know, it's kind of like cooking and never, you know, tasting the food. It's like, well, I made this recipe. I'm just going to serve it up and see what happens. You got to taste it, right? You got to see what's going on. You can always tell a bad cook, they don't taste as they go, right? If anybody of you cook out there, you know that they just don't taste stuff as they go. So a good content marketer, a good person who's an e-commerce person, is constantly looking at what they've done. Next thing is use video content. This is huge, guys. I'm going to give you an unbelievable example of this in just a second about a company that used video. But if you put video on your site, you are going to jump ahead of so many people. This video can be in blog form where you're talking. This video can be in product demonstration form. It can be in all kinds of different forms. It doesn't have to be long. It could be a minute video. It could be a 30-second video. You have video testimonials of your customers. Put those on your page. But video content is huge. And like I said, I'm going to give you an example of this in just a second. And I'm going to call it Go Chewy. Now, in the comment box there, and I'm going to downsize my screen for just a second because I want to look at these here. I want you to put in the comments if you know who Chewy is, okay? Just put in the comments if you know who Chewy is. And I'm looking through here. Do you have anybody, Jessica says they know who Chewy is?
Few.
A few? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Somebody says got it. Spot on, got it, understand. Brilliant. Pet food. Well, yeah, they got pet food, site for pet food. Chewbacca? No, it's not Chewbacca. That's funny though, thanks. From Star Wars? No. Mexican friend? No. Here's what Chewy is. Chewy is this website right here. Now, and I got to move my screen again. I apologize for this thing it's going to keep going down like that because every time I click, that's just the way this works. So this is one of the products on Chewy, okay? Now on Chewy, they started this company in 2011. And what they do is they deliver all types of pet products to people's homes. And there's so many good things going on this page, so many that I got to point out some, okay? So let's look at what they've got here. They've got the description of it. Okay, well, this product I pulled up here is Greenie's regular dental dog treats. Below that, they have reviews. They got 1,192 reviews, and it looks like almost 5 stars. And next to that, check this out, 23 answered questions on this one product. So a customer can click on that and see all these questions that people asked. And then they've got free 1 to 2 day shipping. Okay, so they're hitting on all the stuff here. They have a discounted price. They're showing you how much you save. I actually have auto ship where you can buy this and automatically, you can get it shipped to your house every month, right? And you save 5%. So they're hitting on every single thing. And then below that, they have quantity discounts, okay? You can get a 3 count, 6, 12, 18, 27, 36. And on top of that, they have the 36 highlighted, so it defaults to that one, okay? Now, on top of all that, they have save 20% today when you set up your first auto ship. Look at how many things they've done here to get people to buy. And here's the biggest thing. They have an employee talking about that product. Now, this is what really propelled Chewy to the top of the rung here. Every single product on Chewy, and I guess there's thousands of them, right? Jessica, you buy from there, don't you?
Yep,
yeah.
Sure do.
Why did you buy from there?
Oh, the convenience, the selection, gosh. Just being able to, the auto ship was really cool.
Yeah, this is how I learned about Chewy, actually, from her guys. But they put videos on every single product. Amazing. Okay. And and some people get lazy with their Shopify stores. They're like, well, I don't even have one of those products. Well, get one. Order a product, have it, do a short video. You'll be amazed what that'll do for your sales. You don't even have to be in it if you don't want to. You can just show your hands, the middle part of your body, or you can go to Fiverr and people will do product demonstrations for like 10, 20 bucks. You can hire people to do these videos for you. It's really simple to do. So check this out. 55% of Google searches include at least one video on the result. So you can see the direction it's going right now. They are looking for, probably the other 45%, they couldn't find them, but they are trying to bring back only pages with videos on them now. So if you've just got, product pictures on your page, you got to do more. You got to work more. You got to work harder. Okay. So, these are just things you have to do. Somebody said they also had 24/7 customer service. They have great customer service. So they built this reputation. So I will tell you, they weren't making money at all, though, but they built up a huge clientele because they had one thing in mind. Does everybody know what they had in mind? Does anybody know what they had in mind when they started Chewy? Put in that comment box there if you knew. You getting any comments in there, Jessica? They said somebody commented that they wanted to lose money. No, they didn't want to lose money.
Puppies?
No, puppies. No, it wasn't puppies. They have one thing in mind when they built this get emails. You're getting really warm right now. Provide a service. Yeah, but that's not quite it. Customer, getting close. Here's what they wanted to do. They wanted to dominate the market in pet supplies. Why? Why did they want to dominate the market if they're not really making money? Let me show you why. Because PetSmart agreed in April of 2017 to buy Chewy for $3.35 billion. Now, who thinks that's good money? Does anybody think that's good money? Maybe they didn't make a lot before that. But see, what they did is they gobbled up a market. Antonio says, sweet. Yeah, they just gobbled up a market, and they did it by using videos. You can do this too. You can do this, right? You can step ahead of everybody else if you want by just putting videos on your site.
And their SEO is really good.
Their SEO is really good. Yeah. So it's all these things. So it used to just do that list of SEO things I told you about. And nowadays you got to do that plus some. But the point is, if you do these things, you're going to be way ahead of everybody else. Because I'll tell you, Most people are lazy. Most people will, you know, put up a site and want to import a product and not even write their own descriptions. I mean, this is ridiculous, you know, but if you do all these things and, you know, you're going to have to spend time anyhow. Jennifer says, this is great. Well, good, Jennifer. I'm glad you like it. If you're going to spend, so most people will spend all their time on putting tons of products on the site. They'll spend 10, 12 hours a day just importing products to their site and thinking that they're going to have this great site because they got all these products, but nobody's ever going there. You know, you do much better to put one product on your site per day, do a little video, write tons of content on it, and stick that out there, and you will get far better results. Now, I'm also, if you're in the DCA group, thank you, David. I appreciate the kind words. If you're in the DCA group, I'm going to repost this, and I want you to go back through and look at that Chewy page, okay? Or just go to chewy.com and look at any of their pages. You know, it's pretty simple to do that. But, you know, the point is, if you have good SEO nowadays, because everybody was saying, well, SEO is dead. SEO doesn't work anymore. You can't get on, you know, the first page. You can if you do some of this stuff, okay? Because other people aren't going to do it. I can tell you, 99% of the people who own websites out there don't want to have to do this work. They just don't want to have to do it. So if you're the 1%er that does it